McClurkin, and I thank you all for listening today. I am here today with Hyvelle Ferguson Davis. She's a national ambassador for No Diabetes by Heart. And it's a link between the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association that gives you a way to be able to manage type 2 diabetes and heart situations and even stroke. It gives you the information that you're going to need in order to make it. So I want you to help me welcome Hyvelle Ferguson Davis.
Thank you, Pastor McClurkin. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be a spokesperson for the American Heart, especially with this new campaign that's bridging the gap between diabetes and heart disease. For such a time as this, we're dealing with a lot nowadays, but we have to gain control, and information is power. So I thank you.
You got a caution story too. So what was your story?
Well, it started back, I was pregnant with my son at 35, and I had gestational diabetes. And I was going about doing everything I needed to do because, I was doing everything for him. We as women, we are super women, and we are the caretakers. So I did everything when I was pregnant, to make sure that he was okay. But a few years later, I reverted back to my old eating habits. Mm-hmm. And the doctors warned me. I've gotten all the lectures, about taking the insulin, the regimen of how you have to eat, because it's a whole new world that opens up to you. And it's like, wow, it's a lot of information. And right. I just reverted back to my old ways.
And so how did that play out, even in your pregnancy and even afterwards? How did you get that managed and under control?
Well, it started back of how, like I said, I was going about everything and I reverted. And I turned 41 years old. I went to the doctors and she was giving me all the warning signs as reference to my A1C was 12.5 at one point. And she's like, girl, you're on the danger zone. I didn't pay attention because, I was young. Stroke, heart attack, heart disease doesn't happen to a young person. Mm-hmm. And, I ended up with a stroke. I found myself having to relearn and think about a lot of stuff. And, a few weeks later, I was having this pounding lightning bolt just strike in my bed. And I was rushed to the ER and with a heart attack. And everything got real. It got extremely real. A world that was not familiar to me at all.
And so you found out the hard way that this could hit you at a younger age.
Yep, and all too well, I talk about how it's in my family. My mother was diagnosed, and, it was sugar, or, I felt tired. There was no information that was given to us as far as, know the warning signs, or, now that I know, and, it's just that she didn't inform us enough, or we didn't, we think we're immune, especially in our community. We go to the barbecues, we go to the repasts, and we eat the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it's about retraining.
And that's the difficult part. I put it like this. I really do, and I say this often. When I was diagnosed with diabetes, I didn't realize how much of a food addict that I was. I didn't realize how addicted to the wrong foods, the comfort foods, the unhealthy foods, because that was what I was raised on. That's all I knew, is how to eat unhealthily. And to me, healthy food was bland. It didn't have any, pizzazz to it. And I didn't know that I had diabetes, and I started feeling pain in my feet, on the bottom of my foot. And I was driving on the 4th of July, 2005. I was driving from New York to Washington, D.C. with 3 friends. I'm driving. And for some reason, everything was blurry. I kept blinking my eyes trying to get clarity of sight. Could barely read the signs. I've got my friends reading the signs for me while I'm driving. Half blind. And when we got to Baltimore, and I knew that I'd stop at the rest stops every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes. I'm drinking incessantly. I'm drinking all the wrong things. I'm drinking apple juice. I'm drinking grape juice. I'm drinking slushies and Slurpees. And didn't know what I was dealing with because that wasn't a conversation that we had. Like you said, the old folks in my family called it the sugar. And, I got the sugar, and but it wasn't something that we understood or realized how dangerous it was, and surely didn't think that it was hereditary and could be passed down. And I finally, God really told me, go to the hospital. We were in Baltimore, and when I heard go to the hospital, I drove about maybe 200 feet, and there was an H sign, the hospital sign, and I literally just pulled off the highway and went to the Baltimore hospital. I went in. Nobody was in there. I went into the bathroom, and when I finished in the bathroom, I felt myself getting dizzy, and I started to faint, and I pulled the cord, the emergency cord, and they came in. My blood sugar level was over 700, and I was, my A1C was 13, and I could barely see. And that's when I found out that I had diabetes. And then even after that, I knew I had diabetes, but I didn't know how it affected. I knew I had diabetes, but I didn't know how it affected the rest of my body. I didn't know how it affected my heart. I didn't know how it affected my eyes. All I knew is that they put me on metformin. Then they changed me to injections of insulin. But the information wasn't really something that I could really understand, you know. And these kind of conversations, like you and I are having, are key to helping common people understand the practical aspect of managing their health, understanding how the link between diabetes and the heart is it's so connected. They need to really pay attention to how they're living, what they're doing, how they're eating, and how to better their lives.
Yes, and it starts by, one simple change, go into nodiabetesbyheart.org. It's the information. I wish the information was there for me. I talk a lot
Right,
in
right.
reference to, I would say this is my ministry, right? Pain has its
Hmm.
passion and passion has its platform. We have, as we as women, we have our scars, and we all have, men or women, we have scars. It's the physical scars, spiritual scars also. And then we
Yeah,
have to do inventory of everything, because we can pray, but prayer without works is not void. We have to get up and meet God where He wants to. There
yeah,
were many days that, after I came home from the stroke, I couldn't walk. Little stuff that we take for granted, of just brushing our hair or button up I had to have a nurse here to take care of my basic needs. And,
wow.
when you're sick, nights last so long, but joy comes in the
Mhm.
morning. And so I
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
support team. I got a support team, my husband, where, I didn't know, but I couldn't move. I was in actually a walker, and he would pull the chair up so I can see the sunrise, because that tell me that God is evident, that I have a new day. And I just grabbed onto that light, God, and the essence of that sunrise, of understanding that I had to take some personal accountability. I had to go to my doctors. I had to learn everything and put everything in my arsenal to learn how to fight the smart fight. So I arm myself, and I'm an ambassador, and I'm just spreading the mission. We have, God talks in Ezekiel about, dry bones, and how, He can make a heart of stone into a heart of flesh. And He can do that for us. But we have to get the information and arm ourselves.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, I thank you for taking this time with us today. I thank you so much for giving us your experience. And I really want to continue a conversation with you, because I think that uh, an ongoing conversation is needed, not just a one and done, but there needs to be an ongoing conversation that we can continue to drive the point home about how this horrible thing called diabetes is manageable, and how, if unmanaged, how it affects our heart and our lives. So if you would make yourself available again, I would be more than happy to continue this conversation with you. It is a blessing meeting you, Hyvelle, and thank you again. And for everybody else that wants to know more about this, for you and your loved ones, all you've got to do is go to nodiabetesbyheart.org. Thank you again for being that generous woman to come on in and to lend your story to this situation.
It's that urgent, and I thank you.
God bless you, your husband, your family, and live long and prosper. And we'll be talking to you some more about no diabetes by heart.